All right, here we go. It is another video and it is another week in the NFL playoffs. It is time for the divisional round. Wild card weekend has passed. There were some shocks and then there were some, saw that coming. But it was very good football and we have another week of very good football, and we have another exciting weekend that will go all the way into Monday with the national championship between Notre Dame and Ohio State, which that's going to be a classic. Notre Dame has been fighting and clawing their way through the season, and Ohio State has just been Ohio State, even though they can't beat Michigan. But that's going to be a great game. But we're not here to talk about NCAA. We're here to talk about the NFL and the NFL divisional round. We got 4 games slated for Saturday and Sunday. On the AFC side, we have the Houston Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens, and on the NFC side, we have the Washington Commanders versus the Detroit Lions, and the Los Angeles Rams versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's get into it. So, first of all, we're going to start off like this. These are my predictions, okay? Listen, people, these are predictions. These are predictions, okay? So if you agree with them, you agree with them. If you don't, you don't. It don't matter to me because this is what I think, okay? Don't put your money on what I say, even though you should put your money on Jahan Dotson getting a touchdown, but it's neither here nor there. So, let's go ahead and get into the first game with the Houston Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Houston Texans, they proved me wrong last week. I thought the LA Chargers were going to go ahead and go in there. Justin Herbert was going to have a day and beat the Texans. You know, the Texans have been looking a little rough, but them Texans came out balling. Nico Collins came out balling. CJ Stroud balling. Who's the guy that got 2 interceptions on the defensive side? I can't remember his name, but I put him right here. Balling. Them guys, I got to give them in my hand because, my goodness, they surprised me. I didn't think this was going to happen like that, but it did, and the Houston Texans look great. But with looking great, they have to look great once again. Actually, they have to look phenomenal because this Kansas City Chiefs team, okay, we all know them. They're going for the three-peat. They're going to be a dynasty. They're trying to prove that they are a dynasty. All their games this year have been close. Every last one of them. All it takes is that one mistake and they capitalize, or they just keep it close. It's just a Kansas City Chiefs, man. So this will be another close game, I do believe, because those Texans and these Kansas City Chiefs, they've had basically 2 weeks off because they didn't play their starters. They played Carson Wentz. Shouts out to my boy. You look terrible. But they're well rested. Don't know how they're going to come out, but it's the Kansas City Chiefs. You can't count them out, and I'm not going to count them out this week. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs on this one, okay? Okay, I'm going to stick with my prediction in the other video for the conference round, and I'm going to go ahead and stick with the Kansas City Chiefs on this one. And the second game in the AFC is the Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens. Right here, guys, right here is the game of the weekend. This game right here is going to be closer than the Texans versus Kansas City Chiefs, even though the last time they played, I do believe the Baltimore Ravens put belt to ass. Smack up. But this is different. This is the playoffs. Josh Allen, he's coming out. He has something to prove. Lamar Jackson, he has something to prove. Both of these quarterbacks right here have something to prove. Plus, they're going against each other for the MVP trophy. So, of course, they're coming out here and they're going to give it their all. This game, I'm telling you, it'd probably be one of the closest games this weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to overtime. Ah, man, this right here. Woo! Boy, I'm very excited to watch it. Although the Bills have had a good year, I'm going to still stick with the Baltimore Ravens. I believe Derrick Henry, he had a great game last week. I believe Zay Flowers is coming back into play, so hopefully he's coming back into play. Yes, the Buffalo Bills, they have looked phenomenal all season. Yes, they looked phenomenal last week. Yes, they are on a roll, and their defense is nice. Their offense is nice. Josh Allen, my boy Curtis Samuel. He had a nice little play in there last week. And the only way this is playing into the favor of the Bills is that it might be snowing. That's what's going to make it very interesting. It's a chance. I do believe it's like a chance for snow. You have a snow game in Baltimore versus the Bills. That right there, that is a playoff classic. But I'm going with Baltimore. I'm going with the Ravens. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump over to the NFC side. And we got to start off with the number 1 seed, the Detroit Lions. And they're going against the Washington Commanders. Listen, I talked about it last video, okay? And the Detroit Lions are a dominant squad. Right here is another game to watch. Just because the Commanders have a do not give up attitude, although that defense is atrocious. My God, they just have that X factor, that never say die attitude, that John Cena never give up attitude. Ah, God, and they have Jaden frickin' Daniels. I mean, the man is just unfazed. The man is cool as a cucumber. The man is just like that. You cannot count them out, but them Detroit Lions, my God. Anzalone on the defensive side. You have a Meek on the defensive side. That CB, he has a lot to prove. The man said he
appreciate y'all, man, because y'all gave me a chance to showcase what I could do when they tried to bury me, dog. But they can't bury what come from the dirt.
I mean, that's a different type of mentality right there. I'm going to start using that. That's hard right there. That is hard. Then Jared Goff. Then the Sonic and Knuckles. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Then you got the wideouts. Jameson Williams. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Don't forget about Laporta. Don't forget Penei Sewell. Don't forget about them boys. I'm telling you, this team is just like that. I love my Commanders, but man, I gotta go with the Detroit Lions. I got to. Don't worry, in my heart of hearts, I am rooting for my boys. I am going to be screaming. I'm going to be crying. I'm going to be doing all I can from this very desk to cheer my boys on. But as it looks on the paper, I gotta pick the Lions. I'm sorry, Washington, but I got to be a unbiased analyst right now. I got to pick the command. See that? That's the heart in me. I couldn't, but I gotta pick the Lions. But like I said in the last video, if there's a team that can come out and beat the Lions, why not the Commanders? Anybody, anywhere, anytime. Let's go. And for the last matchup in the divisional round in the NFC, it is the Los Angeles Rams versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Rams are another squad that surprised me last week. Them boys, oh my God. Verse? Boy, I tell ya. Listen, I did not expect for them to come out like that. And also, I didn't expect Sam Darnold to come out like that. My goodness, I mean, Sam Darnold and Justin Herbert just both were kind of like come on guys, like, where are you at? Where's the regular season you? Come on, what are we doing? But I remember talking to somebody at work about this. I said you have to watch out for that guy Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Those right there are unstoppable players. Like, I mean, come on now. Those two wideouts are beasts, and I'm pretty sure they have another one. Stafford in that backfield, whoa, he looked great. That team just looked great last week against the Vikings. I don't know what happened to the Vikings. I really don't know. Hopefully next year, Kevin O'Connell, he'll figure that out. For all the J.J. McCarthy trade talks and the trade's not happening. He's staying in Minnesota because they need him. Okay, they need him. Sam Darnold's not going to do it. I'm sorry. He's not. Now, if he won that game and played better, but they need my boy. They need JJ. But as we talk about the Rams, we have to mention the Eagles. The Eagles did what the Eagles do. Saquon could have had another touchdown. He probably crushed some parlays because he didn't run it. The whole team wanted him to score it, but my boy is all about sportsmanship. But that offense ain't look as promising as it once did. Now there is talks that him and Kellen Moore, they're kind of, Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore, you know, they're kind of button heads, and the offense isn't fitting, and Jalen looks unsure of himself, which he does. He really does. But they still got the job done. So, I mean, and that defense is still that defense, still a beast. And now, you know, Kellen Moore is possibly going to Dallas. He has been requested to do an interview with the Cowboys to become the head coach, because if you remember back in the day, that Cowboys offense was one of the best in the nation. I mean, it was number 2 overall. It was number 2 offenses in the NFL. But then you had Mike McCarthy come in saying he's going to change everything up. Then Moore went to the Chargers. Now he's with Philly. But now he might be going to Dallas. So that's a whole nother situation. But right now we're focused on the divisional round. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull a shocker right here. I'm going to pull an upset. I'm going to say the Rams. I'm going to say the Rams due to the fact that Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore aren't clicking like that. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I know I picked the Eagles to go all the way, but last week just proved that there's something there that we don't know. They just didn't look too good last week. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the Rams. This might be a wrong pick, but I'm going to just go with my gut on that one. So my picks for this divisional round is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. I expect for them to be in the conference championships. And then for the NFC side, I have the Detroit Lions, even though in my heart of hearts, I'm rooting for the Commanders. Come on, Jaden. Let's keep it going, buddy. Let's keep it going. Come on. Come on. And then I'm picking the Los Angeles Rams. We're going to have to see what happens. Hopefully, what my heart feels happens. You see what I did there? Because, you know, even though I'm saying that I want the Lions to win, I hope the Commanders win in my heart of hearts. Whatever happens is going to be good. Can't wait for it. We got some more football. It's 2 more weeks and then we're done. Well, it's probably like 3 or 4 weeks because we got the Pro Bowl and, you know, got some time in between there and stuff. But then we get to focus on the offseason stuff. Get to focus on the coaches getting hired, the free agents, the talks, the drafts, combine and draft and all that, because I want to see what Shador does. You know, there's talks with Prime possibly going to the Cowboys and then the Raiders, and Deion saying where he's going to go, and I have my thoughts on that, but we're going to keep them to ourselves right now and focus on the playoffs. Let's focus on these playoffs and let's see what happens in this divisional round. Let's get it.